dear all students. Today we want to talk about Unit 5 and 6 from the book Language Leader Exeter. In this lesson, we want to talk about modal verbs and also we want to learn how to narrate a story and use the verbs used to and get used to. So let's see it. First of all, we want to talk about ability, but this time we want to talk about ability in future. So if you want to show your ability to do something in future, what should we do? Whenever you want to talk about ability in future, you can use will or won't be able to talk about future ability. If you look at these two examples, at the end of the course, you will be able to make your own website. Or he won't be able to speak Japanese in a week. It will take months. So as you can see here, instead of can that you usually use in order to talk about abilities, because it will be happened in future, we use will or won't in a negative form. So don't forget, if you want to talk about ability in future, use will or won't be able to. So, and be careful that, as I told you, you cannot use can for future ability. Look at this example. You can make a sentence about your future ability after this lesson. Do you think that it is correct? No, because we use can just right here instead of be able to, and we are talking about future, so it's not correct. But you will be able to make a sentence about your future ability after this lesson. Yeah, this one is correct one. So be careful about it. I have got a video just right here, a piece of from a movie. In this movie, an actor is using be able to because he is talking about future. Watch it.
Then I won't be able to help you. Do you understand?
See? Let me play it one more time for you.
Then I won't be able to help you. Do you understand?
Then I won't be able to. Because it is about the ability in future, he is using won't be able to. Okay, so let's talk about possibility in future. Now we are going to talk about possibility that you have in future. If you want to talk about possibility, then you can use may, might, and could to say that something is possible but not certain. Be careful that you're not sure here in future. Look at these examples. They may come by car. You're not sure. Maybe they will come by car. Or they might be at home. Are you sure here? No, you're not. So this is kind of possibility. Or if we don't hurry, we could be late. But again, I'm not sure. I'm not certain. Again here, there is a kind of actually issue you should be careful about. To describe a negative possibility in future, we use might not, but we cannot use couldn't, okay? So whenever you are talking about probability in future in negative form, please only use might not. Look at this example. The weather forecast is good, so we might not need our umbrellas tomorrow. Yeah, this sentence is correct because we are talking about a negative possibility in future. But look at this example. No, this is not correct because we are talking about negative possibility in future and it used could not need, and it is incorrect. We cannot say that the weather forecast is good, so we could not need our umbrella. No, we should use might not need. Again, let's watch a video from a movie. In this movie, the actor is using may in order to show possibility in future.
I think I may have a solution that can be a blessing to both of us.
Yes, see? Watch it one more time.
I think I may have a solution that can be a blessing to both of us.
Yes, I think I may have. It's a kind of possibility in future and the actor is trying to use may in order to show possibility in future. Yes? The next one that we are going to talk about is obligation in future. Do you remember obligation? When you want to talk about necessity, something that you have to do. But this time we are going to talk about obligation in future. Whenever you want to talk about obligation in future, you need to use will have to or will need to. With will have to or will need to, we describe future obligation. Look at this example. There is curfew on weekends. We will have to stay at home. And use will not have to, the negative form, and will not need to describe a lack of obligation, when there is no obligation. So if there is no obligation, so you should use will not have to and will not need to. They are going to give us lunch. We won't need to take any food. So it shows what? It shows lack of obligation. But if you wanted to talk about prohibition, it means that a negative obligation. These two are totally different from each other. Here, there is lack of obligation, but here it is negative obligation. I'm definitely sure that you know the difference between lack of obligation. It means that there is no obligation, so you don't have to do that. But here, it means negative obligation. If it was in present, you should use mustn't. But okay, if I want to talk about negative obligation in future, in that case, you can use can't. Look at this example. You should wear pants. You can't enter this mosque with shorts. It shows what? It shows negative obligation in future. So again, let's watch a movie. In this part, actually the actor is trying to use obligation in future.
But the day will come when one of you will have to defend that peace.
Will have to defend. Yes, a kind of obligation, but in future. Watch again.
But the day will come when one of you will have to defend that peace.
Okay, so we have learned all the models in future: ability, possibility, and obligation. Right now, we want to learn about all of these models, but in the past. Ability in the past, possibility in the past, and obligation in the past. First of all, ability in the past. If you want to talk about your ability, the ability that you have had in the past, how can I express it? Look at here. Use could or was, were able to talk about a general ability or possibility in the past. For example, I could play the guitar when I was 7 years old. It shows your ability in the past. So whenever you are talking about general ability, this one is important. General ability or possibility in the past, use could or was or were able to. I could play the guitar when I was 7 years old. But if you want to talk about a single action in the past that you had the ability, you can use was able to. For example, the police weren't able to catch the speeding car. In that case, in that single action, we use was or were able to. And also, another word, managed to, it's a really nice word. When you did something, but kind of difficulties were there. It was not easy to do. So use managed to talk about something you did that was difficult. The bird managed to escape from its cage and fly away. So it was not easy for the bird to fly away. So because a kind of management has happened, we use the bird managed to. And finally, we use couldn't or wasn't or weren't actually able to for a negative kind of ability. When I was young, I wasn't able to stay out late. Again, a video. Watch it.
After 2 weeks, she was sent to McLean's for treatment, but was able to go home to Virginia for Thanksgiving. The day after...
See, in this episode, the actor is showing, but I was able to go home. A kind of ability in the past. Watch it one more time.
After 2 weeks, she was sent to McLean's for treatment, but was able to go home to Virginia for Thanksgiving. The day after...
I hope everything will be clear. Let's continue. We are going to talk about obligation in the past. If you have such a kind of obligation, necessity in the past, how can I express this one? Whenever you have kind of obligation in the past, you used to use had to. Use had to talk about obligation in the past. I had to wear a school uniform when I was a child. It was necessity, yes? Use didn't have to talk about a lack of obligation in the past. So when there is no necessity, a lack of obligation, so we use didn't have to. We didn't have to go to school on Saturdays. But be careful, use couldn't again. Do you remember the future form? When I told you that there is a negative obligation, in this case it will be different. Use couldn't to talk about negative obligation or a prohibition in the past. Before the law was changed, you couldn't visit a country without a visa. Let's watch a video. In this part, the actor is talking about obligation, but in the past.
When my father said he had to go to work, he could see that I didn't want him to leave.
It is totally clear that in this part we are talking about past. As you see, that I didn't want him. So you are talking about some kind of necessities, obligation in the past. When my father said he had to go. Yes? Watch it one more time.
When my father said he had to go to work, he could see that I didn't want him to leave.
Perfect. Now, the second thing that we wanted to talk about in this lesson is how to narrate a story. Do you know what narrate means? Whenever you want to narrate a story, you want to talk about or tell a story, and from the beginning to the end, you're going to say what has happened over there. This time, we are going to narrate a story in the past. This story has happened in the past, and we are going to tell a story. So, what kind of tenses I can use just right here? If you want to narrate a story, we use narrative tenses. We can use them to tell a story or to describe past events. The four narrative tenses are the past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. And one or more of these can be used in a sentence. We have already studied all of them, but again, I'm going to talk about them in these slides. For example, we were walking as usual one day when all of a sudden Bonnie started to bark furiously. I saw a man sleeping face down on the stand. Bonnie continued to bark, but the man didn't wake up. He wasn't sleeping, he was dead. It was clear that the storm had washed up to the body. Now, there's no to over there, had washed up the body. As you see here, in this paragraph, you have all those four tenses. You have simple past, you have past continuous, past perfect, and even though you have past perfect continuous. So it is totally common that you use all these tenses in order to narrate a story. So let's watch them one by one, talk about them one by one. Past simple, for example. As you know, whenever you want to talk about a single activity that happened in the past and finished in the past, we use simple past, no matter it is a single action or a series of action. So, one action had happened in the past, finished, so we use simple past. We can use the past simple for action that is started and finished in the past. For example, a series of events in someone's life. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918. He became the first black president of South Africa. He spent 27 years in prison. The past simple is often used in stories and dialect too. When Bobby went down for breakfast, Matt looked up. Did you hear the storm last night? All of these are the actions that happened in the past and finished. So no matter it's a single action or a series of action, we use simple past simply. Let's watch a movie.
I studied at the Watkins Art Institute in Nashville, and I took some illustration classes in New York.
So you see, I studied, or then I took some. So all of these verbs are talking about action that happened before and they have already finished. But whenever you're talking about past continuous, there's a difference between simple past and past continuous, because the focus on past continuous is the continuation of that action. One action has got some kind of continuation. It started in the past, a duration, and finished. Here in this tense, our focus is on duration. Look at these examples. For example, at 6 o'clock that evening, Dan was still missing. Bobby was feeling worried. Bonnie was barking loudly. All of these actions has got kind of continuation for some time. Let's watch a video.
I no more pussy after she killed herself than I did when she was living as my wife.
Yes, I got more pussy after she killed herself than I did when she was living as my life. For a period of time, she was living as my wife. Watch it one more time.
I no more pussy after she killed herself than I did when she was living as my wife.
Perfect. Here, I want to tell you something. You can combine these two tenses perfectly. You can use simple past and you can use simple past and past continuous together in a perfect way, because one of them has got continuation, another one interrupted. So when you were doing something, an action stopped you, you can use both these two sentences and tenses in a single sentence. See, we have got kind of continuation, and another actually kind of sentence or action has interrupted you. Look at these examples. I was walking along the beach one day when suddenly Bonnie ran off. It was still raining when Bobby woke up the next morning. Dan was sitting at the table when she went into the kitchen. In all of these examples, you have got some kind of continuation. Was walking, was raining, was sitting, and another action interrupted or stopped you. Let's watch a video. No, there is no video, just right here. Past perfect. Whenever you talked about past perfect, it is really to understand that we have got two actions just right here. And the important things here is that one action has happened before another action. So we have got two actions in the past. The series and the order of those two actions are important. One action had happened before another action. See, there are two actions just right here. One of them happened earlier, before the other one. For example, one of them at 8 o'clock, the other one at 8:15, and both had finished, okay? For example, the meeting had already started by the time I arrived. So which one happened first? Meeting had started, and then I arrived. As I told you, we can use the past perfect with the past simple together in a sentence to describe an action that happened before another action, another past action. I quickly realized that the storm the previous night had washed up the body. I had told her before you arrived. Let's watch a video about past perfect.
I remember that morning Dory and I had gone for a walk in the park.
See, I remember that morning Dory and I had gone for a walk. So this gone has happened before another action. So we use past perfect. And the last one is past perfect continuous. What is the difference again here? The difference is that this one has kind of continuation. The first action, the one that happened earlier, the focus is on the continuation. Again, we have got two actions, no differences. We have got two actions in the past, but the first one, the continuation is important for us. You can see just right here, action one has got some kind of continuation. Look at these examples. I could tell that the body had been lying on the beach for several hours before the police found it. Or Britain had been trying to negotiate a peaceful settlement between Poland and Germany before signing the contract. Sorry. So is it clear? Yeah, these actions had happened before another action, but it has got some kind of continuation. Watch this one.
Certainly she had been dreaming.
She had been dreaming.
Certainly she had been dreaming.
An action before another action has got some kind of continuation. And the last actually grammar point that we want to talk about is about used to and get used to. These two are totally different from each other. I'm definitely sure that you are familiar with used to. We use used to whenever we want to talk about the habit that we had in the past, not more, okay? So you have got some kind of habit in the past, but not anymore. In these cases, you can use used to and would. Both of them are possible. Look at these examples. We used to live in New York when I was a kid. Not anymore. There didn't used to be a supermarket there. When did it open? Did you used to have a garden? We can also use used to talk about past habits. I used to go swimming every Thursday when I was at school. She used to smoke, but she gave up a few years ago. As I told you, we can use used to talk about an action that you had habit of doing in the past.
I used to have a music box like this.
I used to have a music box like this, but not anymore. And would. It looks like used to, no changes, but would is a bit formal. We can use would to talk about repeated past action that don't happen anymore. Every Saturday I would go on a light bike ride. Or my dad would read me amazing stories every night at bedtime. He or she is talking about past, not anymore, habit in the past. But as I told you, would for past habits is slightly more formal than used to.
When we first got married, Charlie would read me a chapter of this every night.
When we first got married, Charlie would read me a chapter of this every night. And get used to. This one is a bit, actually, I think, new for you. Get used to is an action that you are getting used to it. For example, these days you are all staying at home and you are getting used to staying at home and studying at home. In the past, you didn't have such a kind of habit. So this is a kind of habit that nowadays you are getting used to it. You can use this grammar. Look at these examples. I'm finding this new job hard, but I'm sure I will get used to it soon. It took my mother years to get used to living in London after moving from Pakistan. I'm getting used to the noise now. I found it really stressful when I first moved in. In all of these examples, such a kind of process of becoming familiar is happening. So we use get used to.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. It's a kind of actually getting used to, but in the future. Again, let me see that. Can I play it one more time? No, I cannot, just right here. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy it and be ready for near final exam. See you soon.